I hate this place.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It's takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your writing into maturity. For a full list of services, visit blackwolfeditorial.com.
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark. It's time now for the Conservative Curmudgeon Radio Show. Now, here's Grouchy.
So good to be back with you. I love that song. If you couldn't understand it, if your ears are a little older than mine, maybe you don't get that kind of music, that's okay. That's okay. Look it up. The song is called Are You Ready by Disturbed. Look at the lyrics. You'll get what I'm talking about. Are you ready to be turned into someone who cannot be preyed upon? Folks, that's what's going on. The left is preying on everybody else. They're preying on their own. And we're going to stop that crap. We're going to stop it by educating ourselves, by doing our own homework, and by holding everybody's feet to the fire when they need to be held to the fire. That's what we're going to be all about. Midterms are coming up. It's time to do this right. Before we get rolling good, just want to remind you, and Rick, you're here with me, so you can jump in and correct me if I'm wrong here. Right after me, we got Fubar, correct?
Si, senor.
Si, senor. Si, senor. Fubar with Polita Bunny and Orty. They're coming right up after me. Do we have anything in that after them? Are we there yet?
Si, senor. America Off the Rails is after them, senor.
Yes, are you going to do regular now? I love it. America Off the Rails after Fubar and then Jesse's POV, yes?
Si, senor.
This is beautiful. We have a real lineup tonight. I love this. So do yourself a favor. Stay right here, KLRN Radio, your Wednesday night grand freaking slam of conservative talk. Now, we're going to get moving because we got a lot to talk about. So the rumors have been flying, but after a meeting with Attorney or Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein, President Trump said he has no plans to fire him, delivering a reprieve for the Justice Department official whose future has been at the source of intense speculation for the last couple of weeks. Trump told the reporters at the White House that he had a very good relationship with Rosenstein, because that's kind of what you're supposed to say, and was eager to speak with him aboard Air Force One on a flight to Florida for the International Association of Police Chiefs Conference. And they did talk. It lasted about 30 minutes, and the spokesman said they were not alone. So there is the big difference between people trying to draw a line between Trump and Rosenstein meeting on Air Force One versus Loretta Lynch and Bill Clinton. Completely different in that they were not alone, Rosenstein and Trump. So there we go. There are actually people who can attest to what was spoken about because there were other people there. So it provided an opportunity for their most extensive conversation since news reports last month that Rosenstein had discussed possibilities in early 2017 of secretly recording Trump to expose chaos in the White House and invoking constitutional provisions to have him removed from office. So these reports obviously set forth the avalanche of speculation about the future of Rosenstein and also the special counsel's investigation into possible coordination between Russia and the Trump campaign, something to this day that Congressman Trey Gowdy has said he's reviewed over 10,000 pages of this investigation, and there is zero evidence of any collusion. So we can flush the collusion. That argument has been long gone. We know that they're reaching for straws. Look for an 11th hour spiking of the football that's supposed to work against Trump and the GOP in the midterms. I just have a feeling that we're going to get a little bit of a surprise here right at the last minute. President Trump's comments, I didn't know Rod before, but now I've gotten to know him, and I'll look forward to flying with him. It'll be very nice. This was Trump going into the meeting. So the Justice Department has denied that Rosenstein had proposed invoking the 25th Amendment of the Constitution and issued a statement that said the remark about recording the president was meant sarcastically. Time tells everything. Even so, Rosenstein told White House officials that he was willing to resign and arrived at the White House at one point with the expectation that he would be fired. He met in person with White House Chief of Staff John Kelly and spoke by phone with President Trump during a tumultuous day that ended with him still in his job. Rosenstein and Trump had been expected to meet at the White House days later, but that meeting was put off so that the president could focus on a confirmation hearing of now Supreme Court Associate Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Yeah, that got done too. It was not immediately clear if the flight would substitute for the pre-planned meeting. Trump had previously said that he would prefer not to fire the Justice Department's number 2 official, and that Rosenstein has told him that he did not say the remarks attributed to him. Advisors also called cautioned Trump against doing anything dramatic in the weeks before the midterm elections next month. Smart move. So Trump was scheduled to address the police chiefs conference in Orlando. That occurred. The Justice Department in the Trump administration has said reducing violent crime and supporting local law enforcement are priorities of the administration. And I like that. I like that whole process right there. The speculation over Rosenstein's future concerned Democrats who feared that who feared that a dismissal, not a dismal, could lead to Trump curtailing Mueller's probe. Although Trump has at times criticized his deputy attorney general, he has reserved his sharpest verbal attacks for Attorney General Jeff Sessions, who recused himself from the Russia investigation in March of 2017 because of his own earlier involvement in the Trump campaign. Both men will likely see their futures reevaluated after the elections. And that's just smart. If you don't think that's going to happen, you don't really know a whole lot about this process. So anyway, we got that going on. That's a good thing. So let's keep our eyes on Rosenstein. We'll keep our eyes on Sessions, who we've already had our eyes on. Somehow I just don't think that Jeff, who is a good man, Attorney General Jeff Sessions, his office, and he and his office have both reached out to me in the past to help put information together for the program. So I know Attorney General Sessions. I've campaigned for him here in Alabama. He's a good man, but I still don't see how he survives through 4 years with President Trump's administration, and mostly over the recusal on this Russia investigation that's really handcuffed him into doing a lot of what he needs to be doing. All right. So pressing on. In the aftermath of Brett Kavanaugh's confirmation as a Supreme Court justice, the left has set out to immediately call skepticism to the Supreme Court and to call in question their basic legitimacy. Former Attorney General Eric Holder sent out a tweet saying the legitimacy of the Supreme Court can be justifiably questioned. He also made comments about with the confirmation of Kavanaugh and the process which led to it and the treatment of Merrick Garland, the legitimacy of the Supreme Court can justifiably be questioned. The court must now prove through its work that it is worthy of the nation's trust. And we're going to stop right there for a second because this is one of the richest freaking comments you're ever going to hear. This is a former United States Attorney General who was held in contempt by Congress talking about somebody else's legitimacy. Eric Holder calling out. And you want to talk about the treatment of Merrick Garland? Merrick Garland wasn't mistreated at all. Merrick Garland didn't have his high school years dragged through the mud. He didn't have his college years dragged through the mud. Merrick Garland was said to be held in high regard by Republicans. They just weren't going to hold a hearing on him. Now, if you want to try to compare what Garland went through to what Kavanaugh went through, bring it. You know where to find me on Twitter. Okay? That's ridiculous. Eric Holder is the prince of ridiculousness. The man held in contempt by Congress while United States Attorney General. That's the kind of respect he has for the law. Holder served in the Obama administration from 2009 to 2015. His reference to Garland, it was Barack Obama's final Supreme Court nominee in March of 2016. He didn't get a hearing. He wasn't mistreated. He just didn't get a hearing. Okay? There's a huge difference. Huge difference. Nobody ever referred to Merrick Garland as a rapist. Nobody ever accused Merrick Garland without any kind of proof of criminal wrongdoing. Merrick Garland was not referred to by, I think it was, I can't remember who it was, so I'm not going to say anything. But there was a publication out there that insinuated that Kavanaugh was a pedophile. Merrick Garland was never treated like that. So anybody who wants to, from the jerk with 6 followers that was trying to jump all up in my timeline earlier, to Eric Holder himself, I'll take on any and all comers on this. I don't care. Ridiculous to try to even compare them. Holder continued as he wrote, "As you lament the Merrick Garland outrage, never forget that McConnell and Republicans did not fill lower court seats for years. Those are seats being filled now." Well, you know what, Mr. Holder? When Barack Obama was first elected to office, Democrats had the White House, they had the House of Representatives, and they had the Senate. And what did they do for 2 years while they held all three of those? They sat around diddling themselves. That's what they did. Now you want to get upset because the Republicans have the majority? And it's not even as big a majority as the Democrats had. The Democrats had swing to really get some stuff done in 2 years, and they didn't do crap. So Holder's telling everybody, this is the time you have to go use your rage. Your voice matters. Go vote. He's right. That's what anybody can do. They can go vote. But let's not be confused and think for a minute that because Merrick Garland didn't get a confirmation hearing that that's going to motivate the base on the left. And to prove how much it's not going to motivate the base on the left, the famous author Stephen King took to Twitter with his outrage over Garland, but he called him Merrill Garland. That's how much he knows about it. He doesn't even know who he is. He couldn't spell his name right. He couldn't pronounce his name right. These are the morons telling you how you should think and how you should vote. Really? We're going to listen to them? All we have to do is sit back, let them hang themselves with their own insanity that they can't stop. All they have to do is not be insane. I've seen it said so many times over the last few years. All the left has to do is not be insane, and they can't. So all the right has to do, all the GOP has to do, is stay quiet, let the left hang themselves, and then use it to beat them over the head with. But guess what? The GOP can't do it either. They've proven time and again that they are their own worst enemies when it comes to branding, when it comes to getting the message out. We beat the left on message hands down every day of the week, every issue you could possibly think of. Yet we're the worst, the absolute worst at branding and getting the right message out. Why is that? I don't know. I really don't, but I wish they would fix it. Okay, so we're gonna move on here. Time to press on for a minute. Yeah, we are. Give me just a second here. We're gonna collect ourselves and do this right. Okay, let me start by cautioning every constitutional conservative on being giddy, gloating, and excessively celebrating over the confirmation of Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Lou Holtz, the famous college football coach, you know who he is. He's the goofy guy with the big ears. You either love him or you hate him. There's really no middle ground with Holtz, but he's not a dummy. Okay? So Lou Holtz admonished his players that when you end up in the end zone and score a touchdown, act like you've been there before. Yes, a good man survived. He withstood the most vicious, vile, vitriolic of assaults and character assassination and smears from the progressive socialist left. Already the left has evidenced that they are not done. They now want to investigate and impeach Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Why? Once upon a time, we taught civics in our schools, and our children were raised to understand the three branches of government: the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. We were taught the rule of law, our Constitution, and its enumerated powers given to each respective branch of government. We instructed future generations on how these branches were co-equal and that they were checks and balances in place to prevent any certain branch from accumulating too much power. As a matter of fact, the branch of government that has the most enumerated powers, according to our Constitution, is the legislative branch. That's because in our constitutional republic, we have a representative democracy. However, the Kavanaugh episode has opened our eyes to a very disconcerting development in America. It is the rise of mob rule, mobocracy, if you will. And for those who are looking, for those that are watching carefully and are not afraid of saying what needs to be said, we've seen this coming for quite some time. It's become increasingly apparent ever since Donald Trump won the presidency, but you can back up even before that. You could see it during the campaign season before he won. In America, it's no longer about political party. It's about the political philosophy, the ideology. For the progressive socialist left, it's not about the three branches of government. It's about their three branches of rule: the media, academia, and the courts. During this whole Kavanaugh episode, we saw the clear one-sided partisan position of the liberal progressive media. I'm quite sure if Media Research Center was to do a positive-negative analysis on how much mainstream media covered the Kavanaugh nomination and hearings, along with the allegations and accusations of sexual misconduct, it would be no surprise. The left in America must have this very important branch to rule. As it was once said by an infamous propagandist, if you repeat a lie often enough, it will eventually become the truth. To rule, the progressive socialist left must own the narrative, which is why they've become so good at pushing it. They must have the capability, and the 24/7 news cycle gives them this ability to promulgate, proliferate, not objective analysis, but their ideological message and talking points. And it's no coincidence that the media message oftentimes is aligned with the message of the progressive socialist elected officials. Watch the local race in New York as Ocasio goes to run for Congress here in November. The media for the leftists is not just a fourth estate. It's a very vital, pivotal branch of their ruling power. Pay attention, and you'll see the talking points of the Democratic/Socialist Party being parroted by the media. The objective is to investigate and impeach Judge Brett Kavanaugh, and that is why the media will advocate political control of the mob party. The second branch of rule for the progressive socialists is academia. As previously mentioned, we're not teaching civics anymore. So what is it that we are teaching? Well, that is the seminal question. And the answer is that our children are not being taught. They're being indoctrinated. Consider the Georgetown University professor who was censored by Twitter for her rant about Judge Kavanaugh being a serial rapist and suggesting that the entitled white men supporting Kavanaugh deserve miserable deaths and their entrails fed to pigs. If we do not have the rule of law and due process being taught in our halls of academia, what are we producing on our colleges and universities, on the campuses? Well, what about our high schools? There were reports that college professors were giving credits to students going out to protest the Kavanaugh nomination. Should those students have been in class and learning about the three branches of government, the enumerated powers of the executive branch to nominate a Supreme Court justice? Should those students have not been in class for earning their degree in their respective majors, not to be indoctrinated into ideological foot soldiers for the mob? Maybe, post-Kavanaugh confirmation, there should be open forums on these campuses to have intellectual discourse, real debate, to better educate and enlighten these students, draw them out of their safe spaces and make them face the realities of what the world is. Chances are that won't happen, since you're only going to see more mob rule on the campuses and the most abhorrent behavior facing anyone that does not submit and subjugate themselves to the ideological agenda of the progressive socialist left. Let's be honest. The left is not about to cede over any opportunity for constitutional conservatives to impact or influence simply to have a voice in their second branch of rule. Lastly, and Rick, hold on, I know we're running over for the break. I'll get there in just a minute. Lastly, the most important branch of rule for the progressive socialist left is our courts. And this is the reason why the left so fervently went into catastrophic apocalyptic meltdown over Trump's second SCOTUS selection, Brett Kavanaugh. The left does not mind losing the legislative and executive branch. They will figure out a way, legal or not, to obtain power in these two branches, but they cannot stomach losing the ability to mandate their ideological agenda via judicial activism. And since we are not teaching future generations that courts do not make laws, they are to interpret laws, we have become this place in America. What has sent the left in America over the edge is that they now realize their three branches of rule is failing. The American people have stood up to them, their threats, intimidations, coercion, violence. And the left no longer controls any of the three branches of government, including the one that is sacrosanct to them, the Supreme Court. Folks, we are now fully embroiled in an uncivil ideological civil war. It comes down to the rule of law versus the rule of the mob. It comes down to whether or not we have three branches of government in this republic, or do we have three branches of rule that influences and uses the culture to achieve its ends by any means necessary. Always remember, after you score a touchdown, you kick the ball back to the opposing team. In the military, after a successful attack and achieving your objective, you must prepare for a counterattack. The choice is simple. We can choose to have governance that is based upon the fundamentals of this constitutional republic, or we can choose to be ruled based on the whims of the mob. Choice is ours, folks. We make it at the polling places. All right, we're going to cue up the commercial break here. Rick, go ahead and do it.
I've been jumping through some hoops. Wanna get my body loose. Wanna tell you what to do.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
All right. Welcome back. Loving the new bumpers. Okay. Real quick before we get rolling again, just a reminder, coming right up, soon as I end it, Fubar and Orty, Politobunny and Orty doing Fubar. Come on, help me out here. Where's Orty when I need him? Make a fart noise or something. There we go. All right, yeah, and then America Off the Rails with Rowdy Rick, and then Jesse's POV for your nightcap. Like I told you, the grand freaking slam of conservative talk right here on KLRN Radio. Do yourself a favor and settle in for the night. All right, so what else good is happening? Well, here's something good. The good economic news is still rolling in. So with all the Kavanaugh stuff going on, most people missed the Bureau of Labor Statistics on Friday releasing a positive September jobs report with a gain of 134,000 jobs and the lowest unemployment rate in over 50 years. And these reflect a strong economy and continued business confidence. In addition to this, the report showed gains in the total labor force, wages, and employment in crucial sectors that have been a focus of the Trump administration. Notable details in the September report include a decline in the unemployment rates for adult women, 3.3%, and whites, 3.3%, and near record unemployment lows continued for African Americans at 6% and Hispanics at 4.5%. We saw gains in crucial sectors such as professional and business services, healthcare, transportation and warehousing, construction, and mining. September also saw gains in manufacturing. Remember when Obama said that Trump couldn't bring manufacturing jobs back? 18,000 manufacturing jobs just in September. He said he would need a magic wand. I bet I know where he pulled it out of.
You know what Trump said?
What's that?
Abracadabra, bitch.
There you go. Boom. it doesn't take a genius. Look, Trump isn't creating the jobs, okay? He's not. Let's back up for a minute and let's talk about government's function here. Government's function in the job process is to stay the hell out of businesses' way as much as possible, in so much as we're not allowing them to kill us out there, because that would be, very counter to what they need to do. They need us to spend money in their businesses. They need us to work their businesses. So they don't want to kill us, So this ridiculousness from the left about how we're just murdering the environment by loosening these regulations. No, we're not doing that. Okay? We all know that we have to have clean air to breathe and clean water to drink. And we want to have it. Okay? But there's a balancing act. Okay? That's all I'm saying. So, some wondered whether the August dip in manufacturing employment, and there was a small dip, it was right around 3,000, was a harbinger for coming weakness in that sector. But there you see, sixfold over the dip of 3,000 to a plus 18,000. That's a 21,000 turnaround if you count the numbers. It's not how it really works, but they try to present it that way. Really, it's a plus 15 because we'll just say we got the 3,000 we lost back and we added 15 more. So there, boom. It's still a good improvement. It's manufacturing jobs. These are the jobs that Obama said were gone for good, that couldn't come back to America. So we got manufacturing confidence continuing at all-time highs, and they've gone a long way to allay fears in that sector. The labor force participation rate remained unchanged at 62.7%. We did see an additional 150,000 people enter the workforce in September, reflecting strong demand on the job market. And while this is positive, it does not make up for the loss in August. Okay, wages are starting to climb slowly, but they are climbing. They rose 8 cents to an average of $27.24. While average hourly, that was salary raising, and hourly earnings have risen by 73 cents or 2.8% over the last year. So the rise in wages with bonuses and other benefits demonstrates that employers are looking to attract more people back into a workforce to fill open jobs. And they realize that they have to pay people. The market is becoming competitive again. It's turning into an employees market. Okay? So on a more troubling note, though, and we're going to call it both ways. On a more troubling note, the number of persons employed part-time for economic reasons or involuntary part-time workers increased to 4.6 million people in September. In addition, the number of discouraged workers or people currently not looking for work because they believe no jobs are available still remains stubborn, but that's because they don't believe they're available to them. That may just mean that they don't want to work outside of a field that they're not going to find work in. There's a lot of factors that go into that number. It's still not a good number. We're just presenting numbers. So while the number of jobs created is lower than expert predictions, dramatic upward revisions from July and August help soften the blow. Between July and August, the upward revision was 87,000 jobs over that 60-day period. So, it's bad, but it's not bad. Okay, so take it as with a grain of salt. It is what it is. We also have the recently negotiated replacement for NAFTA, providing encouraging news on the trade front. fears of a downward spiraling trade war and the potential damage to economic growth have been alleviated to a degree. We're going to restore trade with Canada and Mexico, but we're going to make it favorable for everybody instead of having the U.S. leveraged at a bad position. In addition to securing solid trade agreements, the economy needs long-run certainty on taxes. Last year's tax cuts have been a huge boon for job growth, but Tax Reform 2.0 is needed to lock these benefits in, okay? And I believe that is in the Senate now. I believe Tax Reform 2.0 has passed the House and is on to the Senate. Let's see if we can get that locked down and done before midterms, okay? What that's going to do is it's going to make your payroll taxes, the cuts that were put into place, permanent. Okay? It's going to loosen some other regulations up. It's going to offer more incentives to businesses for hiring and educating their employees. This is all good news, folks. This is all good news. Now, you want to hear about the bad news? Remember what I talked to you about having to make your voice heard by voting? Yeah. Okay? So remember that when I talk about this. House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, hopeful to be Speaker after the midterms, but I don't know. It's iffy. Boy, can you imagine her getting the gavel back? Oh, my God. What a nightmare. But she says that she is filing, and she was trolled hard over this too, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But she says she's going to file a Freedom of Information Act request with the Federal Bureau of Investigation to get the instructions it received from the White House on its investigation of Dr. Christine Blasey Ford's allegations against Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Pelosi says that she is also requesting any communications from Senate Republicans to the FBI, the FBI's report on the investigation, and transcripts of the underlying interviews. Now, when Nancy tweeted this out, and forgive my informal treatment of her, I feel like I've known her for a long time, watching her lunacy run wild on Capitol Hill. When Congresswoman Pelosi did this on Twitter, the Twitter account for the Senate Judiciary Committee said, "Here you go," and posted the link to the Freedom of Information Act request. That's pretty good trolling right there. That's A+++. Easy. So anyway, Pelosi's statement said today is a profoundly heartbreaking day for women, girls, and families across America. Strike one. She's wrong. She continued by saying, courageous women risked their safety and well-being to speak truth about this nomination. Tens of thousands more joined them to share their own harrowing stories of sexual assault at great personal risk. Yet Senate Republicans chose to send a clear message to all women. Do not speak out. And if you do not expect to be heard, believed, or respected. Let's stop for a minute. First of all, it wasn't Senate Republicans that abused Dr. Ford. It wasn't anybody on the Republican side of the House or the Senate that sat on her allegation letter so long. That was Dianne Feinstein. She sat, as Greg Gutfeld said, she sat on the damn thing for so long that it had a Donna Karan imprint on it when she turned it over. Okay? It wasn't Republicans that told her don't come. It was Republicans that invited her. It was Republicans that offered to come to her if inviting her was inconvenient. It was Republicans who listened to her story and used critical thinking. They took steps to not appear as bullies, for which they were ridiculed for. So Pelosi continued by saying that in purposely limiting the FBI investigation, it is clear the Republicans were not seeking the truth. They were seeking cover to do what they wanted to do anyway. To add insult to injury, they blocked the public's access to the report. Their goal was to install a nominee on the highest court in the land who will put the president above the law with no regard to the Constitution. Blah, 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 blah. She rolled on. Therefore, I'm announcing that I will file a Freedom of Information Act to request so that the public can see the FBI report, transcripts, and underlying interviews, instructions sent to the FBI from the White House, and any communications to the FBI from Senate Republicans regarding the scope of the investigation. The conduct of the Senate Republican majority did violence to the reputation of both the Senate Judiciary Committee and the Supreme Court, she said. We must proceed in a judicious manner to set the record straight and ensure that this never happens again. Well, Nancy, Congresswoman Pelosi, it is going to happen again. Maybe not this whole gigantic fiasco, but Trump will get to nominate another Supreme Court justice before his term in office is over. I don't see notorious RBG making it. I really don't. And she can't make it through the inauguration ceremony without having to leave early. Okay? Yeah, how is she going to make it through court sessions holding her head upright and thinking straight? If there were ever a case for term limits on Supreme Court justices, Ruth Bader Ginsburg is the walking precedent. Yeah, I don't know what else I can tell you. I really don't. It's really that simple. And, here, the Supreme Court, Kavanaugh's already hearing a case. We're starting with the administration's authority for holding illegal immigrants. So they've already started listening to oral arguments. This case is going to be settled sometime probably in the summer. So it's, they're going to do oral arguments, and then they'll adjourn, they'll do their discussions, they'll do their, digging and whatever it is that Supreme Court justices do. I'm sure that, it's all magic underneath the robe. But, they're going to do what they're going to do. A ruling is expected around June, summertime. So, what's going to happen? Is the left going to change their tune if Kavanaugh suddenly decides against Trump on a case? I don't know. Time will tell. I don't think they're going to change their tune on Kavanaugh. They want him gone no matter what. That's just my opinion. But, let's see what happens. We'll look at the constitutionality of things, because that is what the Supreme Court is supposed to do, interpret law and measure it against the Constitution. So we will find out what it's going to be about. And that's all it is, really. We don't have time to go into another story. Again, FUBAR is coming up next, right behind me. Politibunny and Orty are already warming up the microphones. I'm sure I hear that's what I hear rustling in their hands. After that, America Off the Rails with Rowdy Rick, and then Jesse's POV for your nightcap. Right here on KLRN Radio, your home for conservative talk. Folks, it has been a pleasure being with you tonight. If you like the show, tell your friends. If your friends like the show, you need new ones. But they and you are welcome right here with me every week on KLRN Radio for the Conservative Curmudgeon Show. I'm the Grouch. Peace and God bless.
I hate this place. Nothing works here. The medications don't work. I've been here for 7 years.
To